Just
Wait.
surrender. Back me up.
Wait, back you up, back you up, back you up. Yes, back you up. Okay. Okay, we're gonna sober this because we're basically, we want to get the heal. We want to get the heal. And we hit that Cerise, so Cerise is dead. So we get the heal over time. We do this anyway. We get the, oh wow, it almost killed it. Oh, Gab? No, it's okay, it won't die, it won't die. Kira won't die, because we healed. It didn't crit? Doggos! What's wrong with your comp? You didn't crit. Oh, I have anti-crit buff. Oh, alright, see ya, man. Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is going to be a special video, a special showcase video. I don't usually put so much effort into my hero reviews or kind of like showcases, but Researcher Carrot has had a special place in my heart. About a year and a half ago, I created a video on Researcher Carrot, just like when she was like sort of freshly released as a specialty change hero. It was called the Researcher Carrot Review, Build and PvP Showcase. And like I said, it's about a year and a half ago. In the showcase, I actually brought her into some of the meta defense comps at the time, which is pretty hard to deal with in general. But I took out some of those defense teams with Carrot, Eaton, and Mascot Hazel, which was a full 3-star teams versus like ML5s and Charles. And it was successful. A lot of players at that time watched the videos, watched my streams with me using Researcher Carrot, and they wanted to build her, and they used her, and they even used her in World Arena at the time. Sooner or later, Smilegate decided to quote unquote, I'm gonna have to say quote unquote here because I don't even know if it was a nerf or if it was just how they claimed it, a bug fix, but how Champion Zerato and Researcher Carrot required no effectiveness effect resistance check to be able to return the debuff. So in Carrot's case, if they hit her, back then it was once a turn, if they hit her they will get burned, and it required no effectiveness at all. Champion Zerato as well, if you debuff him, he would be able to return it if you don't have immunity, and at that 100% rate, no resistance check. And once that happened, once Smilegate had implemented that, a lot of people just, they found an excuse to recall Carrot, recall Champion Zerato. Of course, you've seen Champion Zerato come back a bit, and Researcher Carrot now getting the buff, making her one of the hardest to kill heroes, one of the most self-sufficient heroes, one of the most overtuned heroes in terms of a balance adjustment, in my opinion. And now she's meta. And in fact, I would say it is the Carrot meta. As you guys watch the video, I will be commentating on certain clips, my own fights, and at the end of the video, I will be showcasing my own build and what I think about her and what that means for the game. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of this special video, like I said, especially to me, but hopefully it will be special to you as well. These are some of the clips from the World Arena Championship, the E7 World Arena Championship. Both players are, top players. This is the 3rd place match. Carrot is drafted on the right side, Spectani, Ruel, SSB on the left side. You would think that the SSB side would win, but I'll let you guys watch this. Nice. Deserved. Oh no! I forgot the holy sack. You know what? I forgot that Lilius is on holy sack.
That was Idle's here.
But it's okay. The Spectani is dead. In my opinion, this is a bit RNG. E7 like because PayPal is open. Is it RNG or is it hacks? No.
You're looking for a long game SSB.
S10 is solid. I should get. Yeah, this isn't good. This isn't too good. Spectani gets a turn. So last starter card is dead.
Combat readiness.
Kiss my feet.
Yeah, no, Spectani is the right choice.
World.
I will step on you.
This was one of arguably one of the most exciting, most clutch matches in the entire tournament, including all three weeks, was the most, I think, surprising. Carrot here had just had the specialty change for about a week when this match happened, so a lot of the players like knew how strong she was, but also were not used to facing how strong she was. Dude, oh my goodness. Okay, so Ruel's got the S2 back. No, that's over. It's over. He keeps bringing back Specteni. Wait, what? Oh, it's over. It's over. It's over. It sucks. It sucks, man.
This game is hand skill again. Okay, would land on. Oh, it did not miss. Hand with the barrier.
Oh! Yes! Wow!
What? Okay,
Wow.
so
In the second round, set 2, same players, iTech takes the carrot, first pick, and the player on the right leaves her in. This is the a jump cut, the demise, and carrot honestly was doing really well here. Insanely hard to kill.
and I think
Ah.
step 3.
The last
So basically, who picks carrot equals win, yeah? This is a really good clip here. The player on the right, Epic 7 number I49 T3A, which is a nickname Rock Brother. He ended up being the championship, the champion of the championship, and he did one play very well, and that was to pre-ban carrot in every fight. And I think the mentality behind that was he knew how strong she was, but he also knew how hard it is to deal with her. And so going with what he would know in terms of like what he's used to playing before carrot's specialty change buff, he pre-bans her. And I do think that was the, I mean, outside of his gear, outside of his just drafting, his just gameplay, it was a big part of, I think, why he just, you know, didn't struggle as much as the other players, at least for the final fight. Next, going to some Guild War. I'm only going to be showing the clips for fighting with carrot. So Cerise is very meta. In terms of the defense team, Cerise is almost on every single defense team. You'll see a variation of DPS, other controllers, DPS with Cerise. But Carrot is honestly a very good hero to bring into Guild War defense with Cerise on it. And I mean, the explanation is clear that, you know, Cerise will target her because she's fire, but she'll also self-burn. So if you have some kind of attack buffer and an immunity buffer like my Crow and Mei Chloe, then you have a pretty solid comp. And most of the times I'm looking at some Cerise comps, and you know, she could be drawing Remnant Violet, like a dual attack, or anyone, and if they don't have immunity and she can strip immunity as well, they'll just be burning themselves. So I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that she's a hard counter to Cerise, but it's just a surprising thing that she can definitely be used into a Cerise fight, even though she's fire. So that's probably the highlight for this fight. But as you can see there, a lot of damage from the burn, especially with the attack buff. Yeah, at the end of the video, you will see my build. I'll show all the stats. So I mean, the damage will make more sense, and you can run a reverse calculation in the damage calculator. But the Guild War fights that we're fighting here are all top 20 Guild War. They're not like, you know, they're not the weakest players. They're good. But it's just showing like this is not a gear gap thing. This is literally just Carrot being good into Guild War. Another ice hero to showcase Carrot here. I mean, Carrot was meant to also just burn Tenny after her S3, but as you will watch, I didn't really get the opportunity here. The FCC I wasn't too worried about because again, I know my burn damage with an attack buff, so there's only one layer of RNG here. It is really the strip on the LQC. She did resist, as you can see, resist one burn, and I was a bit kind of worried that she wouldn't survive it, or she would have survived it, but she didn't. as you see there. RB, even if he had Gab, he would not be able to kill my carrot, and with FCC's Aureus and her own damage mitigation, there was really no way for that RB to win. So it was a decently fast RB. It wasn't like the fastest, but it had some speed. The detonate, very good. This kill on the Fairy Tail was unfortunate. I wanted the burn to kill her. That would have been. So this fight wasn't a meta defense, but I wanted to showcase Crow versus Carrot. With Carrot being a mage, having book, you saw me soul burn that last Rider Crow on the first turn here because I knew that we're only getting one AoE here. So I wanted that to cool down really early. The last Rider Crow would serve as my adamant holder for my maid Chloe. It didn't matter which target she went with in terms of the S3. Here you can only strip one buff, so it wasn't surprising that I couldn't get her to strip the immunity, but the attack buff was gone, so it really helped. This ended up being a lifesteal Spectenny, so heal back a bit, but with the buff gone, it was good. So again, you know, showing Carrot's versatility. She has AoE strip. Here, I'm trying to get Blue Crow down to the exact amount that he'll use his horse, at least the AI would. So I'm soul burning Chloe here just to see how much damage, and then taking a look again, and then realize, okay, that's enough. He's gonna horse, so I'm gonna hit General Pergus, give him a turn too, so my carrot actually keeps the barrier. So this one was a better play in terms of mechanics, and I got my heal over time, and you can see that it's pretty safe. I wouldn't like recommend you bringing carrot into Ice Crow fights, but it's pretty safe. People in RTA, high-end RTA, tell me that like even if you have Crow and someone has a carrot, you're not guaranteed to kill the carrot with the Crow. It just depends on the player who builds the carrot, like how much bulk, the circumstance of which, like, does Crow horse on this turn or does Crow horse on the next turn, like is it too late, that kind of dilemma. It's not a straightforward answer for carrot. I think right now the most consistent I'm hearing is like Ice Kisei into carrot, but even then some people are reporting that's not enough to guarantee you'll have an upper hand versus carrot, which is not great to hear. It really does talk about how strong she is. My carrot has no effectiveness, but you will see it when I show the case to build. So no burn transfers, no burn landed on that Crow when I S3'd. But I'm gonna cut this short here. Some arena and into Cerise again, of course. Like Cerise is still very viable anti-cleave or anti-oxlots, I would say, option. Not so much in arena because you could double up on the speed imprints, but in Guild War for sure. But in arena here again, I wanted to showcase the versatility of carrot. Her self cleanse, her barrier, of course. That self cleanse is very good on her, and of course maid Chloe receiving her own dev buffs during carrot's buffs, making these two pairing very crazy, very good actually. In fact, actually what's funny is that what I'm hearing again in World Arena draft is that carrot, Blue Crown, Last Rider Crow, if they're all drafted on the same team and with maid Chloe, the other team has lost. Like there's no way to kill it. I don't know if that's true. So usually when people start drafting carrot, it's gonna be like Last Rider Crow, carrot, maid Chloe, like someone's going to steal it or take it away, something like that. I can understand the mechanics of how that works out. It's just like a necessary thing to take, and DN mixed in there as well. But it's interesting that my comp I'm running here is exactly that kind of cancer comp. Of course I'm going a bit safe, there's not much damage here, so I don't even need to bulk up that much. But I am hitting these arena clips as you'll see it in sequence. This is a resist Lilius, so it ended up being a bit annoying as well. So I'm too bulky, I'm too high sustain here. There's not enough damage on the opponent's side. We have a... yeah, so I'm just gonna skip that. This one's more of a comp that I already run, except that now I use carrot. So in the past you have probably seen me, if you watch my YouTube videos, my OQC showcase video, I did a lot of like arena offense. It was like G Pergus, Last Rider Crow, LQC, and Lilius, like a Cleave Lilius. This one because it has Cerise, so it changes it up a bit. Having G Pergus with Cerise on the defense team is not a good idea, since you don't know if she will land the restrict and which hero will get pushed up and which won't. So it could ruin the turn cycling that I usually require. So that burn almost killed the Tempest Turn, which is really good. But again, very, very safe. Really, LQC is gonna do a lot of the work here. As we progress into the fights, you guys will see me go a bit less sustaining, less something familiar, like more new. This is a mechanic I actually want to bring up here when this Robbie hits my carrot. I want to make sure that I do notice that the debuff stack and cleanse stack between certain heroes, I mean, they need to be found out. But I may as well note it here for the help for you guys. I didn't need to break that skill null, but basically I wanted the Robbie to get hit here. So here, you'll see that she gets a burn, but then she cleansed. So it happened really fast, but as she hit Carrot, the flame barrier, she got burned, but her EE cleansed it. So that's the order, the stack order, in case if you ever run into that scenario, it might be good to note. Most Robbies are on the cleanse EE right now, if they're counter build. That burn, nice, just killed. The burn does ignore a certain amount of defense, so it does do a lot of damage technically. So going a bit less safe, right? One tank this time. Basar, even if it didn't hit the Politis, it doesn't matter because everybody's on immunity, or I would have knew that I would have gotten immunity. The Mei Chloe here is okay because Politis is S2, only reduces the buff turn by 1 turn. So doing this is safe in terms of her Astral Guide. And she gets an extra burn. I wanted to see that happen. But because she's stripped, she didn't have immunity. And now she got another burn back. So one of the buffs, improvement on the carrot buff is that the burn is no longer locked to once per her turn, but rather it's indefinite. So if you keep hitting her, she'll keep burning you as long as it bypasses the resist check. So I did the dual attack there, the dual turn, but I actually forgot Astral Guide had gone off. So I made a mistake in terms of, it would have been safer just to keep the revive buff up. So there was no reason for me to soul burn the carrot in that play. What I should have done is honestly soul burn the Last Rider Crow, just like I did in the Guild War fight. Because by this time, I would have gotten it way earlier, but it doesn't matter. At the end, because Astral Guide procced, Politis S3'd, RB S3'd, Last Rider Crow S3'd, and then FCC here S3'd, my Last Rider Crow actually got the turn back in terms of the cooldown, even without burning it from the beginning. So the Astral Guide proccing on Politis actually gave me the turn, otherwise I would have been 1 turn off. Again, this is pretty safe. And the burn here, I didn't want to go for RB because RB would have died default, so I hit the Last Rider Crow. This one was fun. This one's a bit risky. I mean, Broman, A Taiwan is not 100% counter because you see the stun proc actually. So it didn't proc the silence and the stun on my Tywin. It only proc the stun. But anyways, it was full team cleanse. Carrot was not debuffed, so that's good. For this one, I will say that I'm a bit messed up in terms of I could have used the Tywin S3 as you will see here. But I don't, because what was happening in my mind is that I wanted to see them all burn. I wanted to see them all pop. So that was the play here. That was the reason why no S3, because I had the souls, right? but I didn't want to use them. I just wanted to see everybody burn. It's messed up. I know. It's a bit messed up. But it is fun. I mean, that's what one thing that Carrot is really good for is that, of course. I had to say one thing because now she's too good at a lot of stuff. So again, you know, could have S3'd, the fight could have ended, but no, I needed everybody to feel the fire. Yeah. And one last fight. This was a very odd defense team, so I ran a very odd offense team. I hardly ever put this kind of combo. I haven't used Angelica in a long time. Very hard to use because Politis is so prevalent. But not FCC, so F10E could join. And did land the debuff on the Mei Chloe, which is good. Because that, you know, Mei Chloe's could be built with really high ER. And we got everybody, and of course I knew the T-Stern would have cleanse. This was interesting too, it was on a counter. I didn't expect it to be, but it was not surprising that it was either. I mean, counter RB, D-Gen RB so called, is very popular. Then of course with the Dark Hero here, we got RB, and we have Singelica's passive up. Her immortality, so like all the damage, the real damage is dead. The last thing is that the soul burn really good on LQC, they're getting that extra turn. So again, thanks to the Toggle's Ancient Book from Carrot. We gotta kill that Mei Chloe quick. Even though it doesn't really matter in terms of she can't revive anyone when Singelica is there, but just to, you know, you can't get that burn, she cleanses it. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching up to this point, and before we continue, as usual for these larger showcase videos, I want to thank my Patreon supporters supporting me monthly through Patreon: Azure, Deekboy, Kariha, RG Fua, Stone Thunder, Torin B, Sean B, Potatoes, Hippie, and Silly. Thank you guys so much for your monthly contributions. If you're watching and you want to support me through that avenue and support my content, definitely check it out in the link down below for Patreon and what I have to offer. Other than that, let's get right into the build. So for those who watch me via YouTube, when her patch note or balance note came out, along with Chaos Axe, which is the other specialty change, which was the disappointment, a lot of people want their 6-star promotion fodder back, by the way, Smugate. And Mei Chloe buff, like it was in that patch. And when Researcher Kiri came out, a lot of people already foresaw that she's just going to be amazing. I mean, the reason why I built her a year and a half ago was because I already thought her kit was amazing, even for that time. But being a 3-star and even with the specialty change stats, it definitely was a bit lacking in terms of her bulk or survival. Otherwise, the kit itself, she already had self-cleanse. It wasn't at 100% proc rate. She didn't have the self-heal, but she already had the damage mitigation as well. That's added to her kit. She had that when her health was maxed. So there was a lot of stuff that, you know, she had that, you know, on paper was like amazing. But, you know, when RTA was like, you know, when she was released specialty change wise in World Arena, SSB was very dominant. And SSB was like, she wasn't bulky enough to handle an SSB. And now, I mean, you guys saw in the Epic 7 World Championship clips, literally SSB going into her means the SSB is dead. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but even from the top players I've talked to, the RTA players, they know that Carrot is just disgusting to deal with. Like, she's so good at this point that she has become a pre-ban or a first pick. And if it's first pick, she's the force ban. Like, it's like that crazy. So in terms of overtune, yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, she's very overtuned. Do we like it? I think a lot of people like it. It is surprising, but some people don't. But I guess in World Arena scenarios, if you do find her difficult to manage, you just toss her out, right? You just ban her. So, anyways, let's discuss the skill tree first. So we did get some modifications on her skill tree, mainly her stats, but then some of the effects of her original skill tree or rune tree kit. Attack is 15% as additional onto that base. So on her, because she's a 3-star, like I said, is a bit low. The swing decreased speed chance is up by 10%. That will actually be displayed on the tooltip for the skill. So it says 60% on the skill. We'll take a look at it in a bit, but that's included in it. So the 60%, it was at 50%. This adds it to 60% speed down, and then health is increased to 25%, which is increase of what she originally had. And then defense is increased to 10%. So it makes her defense, her base defense, before you put on gear, base defense about 660, the health about like 4,200, 4,500, something like that. I know 300 is a big difference, but I didn't do the actual calculation, but that's a rough eyeball. The effectiveness increase on the full team. Flame Spirit has 100% chance to grant a continuous healing to the caster for 1 turn. Continuous healing is a buff, so can be stripped, but it's quite difficult to deal with her anyway. Regardless, that's beside the point. The continuous healing buff is 1 turn, and it grants 15% of the max health. So if you have Carrot built high health, it benefits with this healing skill. I'm gonna get back to that in a bit. Combat readiness for swing is increased by 10%. So that's new, that's for the S1, swing is S1. And then relic rune here, after being attacked, if the caster is debuffed, has 100% chance to dispel the 1 debuff from the caster. Dispel 1. Can be only activated once per turn. So basically a Tywin buff. A Tywin S2 in a way, except not AoE, but selfish, but still very, very amazing. Increases Flame Spirit's burn chance to 25%, so that's the S3. It gives a total of 100% chance to burn. And then the caster's health is at 80% or more when attack decreases the damage dealt by 20%. When 1 or more the damage reduction effect is granted, only the strongest is applied. That's basically what it says there. So basically, like Proof of Valor, you don't really need it anymore. Proof of Valor still could be good on her. I used to run her on Proof of Valor, and I ran her with Eaton, as you saw. If you watch my old Carrot Showcase videos, and a Mascot Hazel for the attack buff, since Mascot Hazel gives the highest attack fire hero a greater attack buff. So that's how I ran them before. To be honest, it would be nice if I found a Guildwood defense team I can run that exact same comp into, but it's kind of hard now. The meta is a bit different. But regardless, before this, the Sun Rune was if your health was maxed, you get the damage reduction. But now you have 80%, so you have a 20% area to move around in terms of like how much health you have to maintain before you lose the damage reduction, which is amazing because she already has self barrier. And let's go back to the kit. She has self barrier skilled on her max attack. That's including after an attack buff. So if she gets hit after an attack buff, her barrier of course is higher. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. I remember it's like 0.78 mod. So it's about 78% of her total attack, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that one. So therefore, with all those things in mind, you take a look at the kit here. It says a 60% speed down, but a 10% CR boost, as we saw. The barrier for 1 turn, and it will burn any attacker continuously. That was one of the things that has changed in her kit in terms of her buff. The old Carrot would only burn once per turn. Now she would burn indefinitely. So if they're much faster, let's say you guys saw me bring her into Cerise. Cerise has multiple turns before she can go, unless you have like maybe a 250 speed Carrot, but multiple turns, and so Cerise keeps burning herself. That's an amazing part as well. So if you don't cut down on the barrier, you do no damage, but then you end up just keep burning yourself and stacking that burn, waiting for her to detonate. Her detonation actually used to be percent based. I believe it was a soul burn to detonate. I think it was soul burn to detonate 100%, but it wouldn't detonate 100% on the base. And the soul burn now grants an extra turn, which is also new to her buff. But anyways, back to the S2. Yeah, so that burn is just like indefinite, right? You keep hitting her, you'll always get burned as long as it bypasses the resistance check. The barrier is like I said, I think it's a 0.78 if I remember correctly, and it of course scales with the proportions of the caster's attack. So then, having high attack, if you have an attack buffer, even better, the barrier is bigger. And we all know now, like with FCC, with all that stuff, barrier is as good as HP in terms of the effective HP. So the higher defense you have with the synergy of barriers, it's harder to take down the barrier. So in her case, she wants high attack for the barrier, she wants high defense for the barrier while she's in the barrier, and then she wants high health because of the damage mitigation, the 80% health threshold for the 20% damage mitigation, and then also the continuous healing, which is a buff, heals 15% of the max health. So having high health, high defense, high attack all benefit her. Having high speed benefits her as well, because then she can cycle her barrier more, which is amazing, of course. And then if she applies speed down, having high speed to oppose the opponents who are speed downed, she'll be able to cycle quicker. Cycle quicker, of course, helps with her S3 cooldown as well, which is already really quick. If you decide to do a soul burn or a soul burn on the first turn, you're already gonna have an extra turn. So the cooldown there, only 3 turns, is very, very quick, right? So it's pretty amazing. And then she dispels 1 buff before applying. So the dispel is also part of her new buff. So she's just overloaded. So in terms of just like, even before I get into the stats of Carrot, just the discussion of the kit itself, it is overwhelming. Like let's sum up. The reason why she's so powerful is because she's so self-sufficient. It's not that because she has just like a one mechanic that's OP, you know? Like it's not like when SSB came out, when it was her dominance, it was the S2, right? It was pretty much a new mechanic that, you know, every time you hit, every time you do any damage, and the focus is gained, she unleashes the S2, and it calls a death break, and then Rengar specialty drink. It was a new mechanic, and that was, I would consider, a meta changing mechanic, right? Carrot doesn't really bring any meta changing mechanics. She has all the mechanics that are already in the game, but the issue is her power comes from self-sufficiency, which means that before, when you used to want to use Carrot, if you know heroes are on immunity, you would have to wait for their immunity to go off, or you have to run a strip. If you needed if she was gonna die and you wanted to keep her damage mitigation up, because before again was full health, you would need a healer. She doesn't really need one anymore. It's better if she has a healer, but she doesn't need one because she has the continuous healing. And she already has her own strip. If you get debuffed, let's say you get an attack down, it doesn't really matter anymore. She can self-cleanse. So just looking at the skill tree and then just the skills itself, the changes, she's too self-sufficient. She's a debuffer, she's a healer, she is or self-healer, she's a self-cleanser, she's an AoE strip, even though it is one buff, but it's still quite a big deal, especially she can apply the burns after, and she can also detonate before they get a turn if she's soul burned. So she has damage, she has bulk, she has healing, she has cleansing, she has dispel, she has like it is too much. So this ends up being the sole reason. And then of course when you touch her, even if they miss her, if they hit her, and if she would miss like on an ice, so SSB you saw in the Epic 7 World Championship clips, those SSBs, like, they burned themselves, even though they had elemental advantage. There is no miss upon that hit. When you hit her, the burn applies without effect resistance check. So she just becomes way too strong. This is why, there's 2 things Epic 7 can end up doing. They can nerf her because she's a 3-star, right? So 3 stars, they're not really going to be losing quote-unquote money out of it. People might recall her, people might keep her, depending on how they nerf her. If they don't nerf her, which is, I think, to a lot of the community is okay as well, because, you know, for RTA players, they just pre-ban her and they play as if she doesn't exist. I mean, that's a way to, you know, solve your issues as well. But if they don't nerf her, I can definitely see them coming up with heroes that deal with her directly, or maybe not deal with her directly, but deal with multiple things that she brings to the table, you know? So maybe anti-DOT, so anti-damage over time skills or something like that. I don't know. I'm just speculating right now. I mean, it's always good to have one meta hero, and I would definitely say she's meta. To definitely have like one meta hero kind of carve a way for the next line of heroes. Otherwise, we're gonna get all these weird heroes that really don't really fit anywhere, and then we're just like, oh man, why do I want to pull for them? Oh, we already have a lot of these examples right now, so I'm not gonna be listing them out, and then waiting for them to get buffed, right? So I mean, there's two ways to do that, and I'm fine with both ways. Either way, these are the stats of my carry. I am going on attack right side. I do not think that having crit rate and crit damage on her will serve her purpose, especially with her new buffs. I do feel that having more bulk even than what I have right there on screen would be beneficial with all the reasons I already laid out. But some people, I think if you want to build a carrot specifically for World Arena, and I'm not a World Arena expert, but I understand the game, I understand mechanics quite well. If you bring her into World Arena, and with World Arena's Frenzy at the moment, increased attack, increased effectiveness over time as you get deeper into Frenzy, she technically could be built as a Frenzy hero. So in that case, I would recommend her going with higher defense, so much higher defense, and you can lower the attack. Since Frenzy already carries that, but you want her to survive to be able to stay in Frenzy to benefit from the attack scaling and then also the effectiveness scaling. Some people build their carrots with effectiveness, and I don't think that's wrong either. I have 0 effectiveness here, not really because I didn't want any, but it's because like any of the gear that would have had effectiveness on it, like for example this boot had effectiveness, I rolled it for health, because I feel that if this is more usable if I like, you know, swap this into like a Senya in the future or something like that, just in case carry gets nerfed. But I'm just saying these, a lot of these like just pure attack heroes are definitely becoming more popular, it seems. Less reliance on crit rate, crit damage. So I rolled that for like health. I didn't think that it was a waste, but it was effectiveness before. It was low, I think it was like a 7%, but you can get up to like an 8-9% health there if I roll it high. But you can see like if it was like a 7 effectiveness there, it didn't really add to the thing, so I just made it health. This one down here, the health was rolled, I think it was effect resistance, I think it was something like that. Anyways, so yeah, health there as well, rolled. And as you can see here, this is not such a good piece in terms of the flat health ends up being what drags the entire piece down. The 31 HP, 17 defense, and 6 speed is not terrible. This is not the best gear, but the flat health definitely lowers it. So changing the flat health now will lower her survivability, which I'm not willing to do, but like I don't really know what I would, you know, replace that health with, so that's staying there for now. This one I tried to roll also effect resistance on the top there for speed, and it rolled low, so I get potentially another 2 speed if I roll a higher speed with the greater gem. So 222 speed, as you can see on the screen. This one, the crit damage, I'm not gonna roll it out for her. 34 attack, 24 health with 3 speed and 7 crit damage. This is nice. I had this on Fire Charlotte when I thought I might be using Fire Charlotte. I never used Fire Charlotte. I never used it. I think theoretically she's good too, but this was for her originally, but she never used it, so I give this to carrot. I'm keeping that 7 crit damage. And then this this piece with the flat health was rolled because it was like on a very old A-Ros, and it was really fresh. Like when we got the substat reroll gems, it was really fresh. I was like, oh, let's roll flat health, you know, let's scale that up. It ended up being a chest that wasn't used on my A-Ros. My A-Ros has a better one now. Yeah, so I mean this could have been effectiveness, but as you can see, like with the stats I have, it was really hard to get effectiveness in. I have seen some amazing carrots with like decent effectiveness, and I definitely say that that probably is more useful in RTA just to get the effectiveness enough. We're not talking about like 100 effectiveness. I think it's a bit wasted on her. I think like maybe like, you know, like 50 at the most. It's just to give you a head start for the frenzy effectiveness to kick in. I think I was theorycrafting a ring, thinking about like for RTA build specifically. I would definitely take my own recommendation there, would be lowering an attack. So instead of going attack, lowering the attack to go for like a main stat defense with like attack. I think there's something here. It was something like this, yeah. Like if I actually like 90'd this piece, it would be okay. So I would remain at 4k attack. The HP would be higher, of course, but just a bit higher. It's not as high as what I would have now because Obviously, if you compare the two rings, 31 health versus 20, and even that's like 24, 25 after reforge. So I mean, it's not gonna be like, you know, the best ring, but you know, it could be potentially what I'll look into if I can get like a better attack neck as well, which I do have to say, like, attack necklaces right now are quite important for a handful of heroes, but I can feel that it will increase or improve over time. Definitely the 90 attack there, the flat 90. I mean, I can't re-roll this boot anymore, but if I get a replacement with like just bulk and, you know, enough 30 attack and then just some effectiveness, I wouldn't mind seeing some effectiveness or even more bulk on my carrot build. So that's like, I mean, that's pretty much it. I was just theory crafting that. I think you could also, in the same way, I guess, hold on, you could also go with a defense. I think I have a defense main neck. This one, yeah, this one was like, this one could have been good as well. So I mean, I lose a bit of the speed, obviously, 18 speed to be exact, but it is okay. You know, it's okay. It's an okay piece. I rolled this a long time ago. Never saw anyone that would use it, but this could be better because I would get the bulk that I might want. The defense would be very, very high, and so therefore, like, this build, you know what, it could work. I would definitely like the speed to remain at 220 plus. The way I've used her so far, and I just foresee her just being a lot better, getting that an extra 20, maybe even 30 speed. So 230 speed would be where I would like her. So, like, I mean, in summary, if you are building a carrot like mine, definitely consider like the way her base stats work. Like, you can definitely get like decent bulk. I mean, there's missing bulk on this neck, so I mean, you could definitely get way better bulk with the same amount of attack. But 4.5k attack is very realistic. Just remember that carrots, even though she got like her specialty change, her base stats in terms of like defense and health, it does scale high. But if you want that interchange, like that synergy with the barrier, and you want that high attack, then definitely go with attack, because you can get the bulk in the chest piece, because the chest piece is the only piece out of the 5 pieces out of the 6 pieces of gear that cannot get attack. So keep that in mind. If you're shifting things around, definitely remember that the chest piece cannot gain attack, which she might need. So then therefore my thought process by default was go attack, and then find all the bulk in the chest piece to make up for, let's say, if you wanted to go for a defense main, or if you wanted to go for like a, I don't know, like a HP main. I know that some people want higher HP, some people want higher defense. It does depend. I think, like I said before, RTA wise, definitely try to go for high high defense instead. It would end up weighing more value in my opinion. There was a chest here that I had. I was on my old SSB, yeah. So something like this, you know, could have been better too. I guess if the crit rate, if I roll a chest like this in the future, and the crit rate wasn't rolled and it was rolled speed instead, I may look into something like that as well, because this is much bulkier in terms of like this chest piece here. Yeah, in terms of like just the balance. But yeah, anyways, I mean, this is not a perfect rolled chest as well. But anyways, those are just some things you can consider when you're building your carrot, and definitely, you know, try it out. I definitely think that she's like I said, too self-sufficient. That is where she shines. Too self-sufficient. I can't think of any hero in the full roster, including ML5s, that has a kit even close to hers, that in summary is able to self-cleanse, self-heal, full strip, do high damage, be able to sober an extra turn, be able to carry book, which is already a benefit in and of itself. That's just a class thing, that's just a mage thing. And then yeah, all this stuff with damage mitigation, so you just need to pair with a damage sharing hero. It's just too crazy. Anyways, at this point, as you're watching this already, like, I mean, Carrot is well known, but if you do not know that she's this good, you may as well build her before Smilegate does anything to balance her. And the worst case scenario is that if they nerf her, you get all your stuff back in terms of you get to recall. So I mean, there's that benefit. But if they don't nerf her, and at least for a while, you may as well take advantage of her overpowered kit. Anyways, I'm gonna end this for the video recording. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. Hopefully this was informative, and I do want to thank you again for watching this long video. I will see you guys next time.